Forecasters are predicting another above-average hurricane season this year. Find out what St. Lucie County is doing to prepare next on Inside St. Lucie. Hello and welcome to this edition of Inside St. Lucie, SLTV's monthly government affairs show. I'm your host, Eric Gill, Communications Director for St. Lucie County. And on today's program, we're going to talk about the upcoming hurricane season and what the county is doing to prepare for it, with my guest, Frank Amandro from the Public Safety Department and St. Lucie County Commissioner Linda Bartz. But before we meet our guests, here's some upcoming events and announcements from the Board of County Commissioners. Due to a shortage in hiring summer staff, St. Lucie County's public pools will be open with limited hours and capacity this summer. St. Lucie County operates 3 pools: Ravenswood, Lakewood Park, and the Arthur Lee Boatwright Pool. For details on hours and operations, visit stlucieco.gov/aquatics. Now for the latest updates about all St. Lucie County Commission meetings, workshops, and events, be sure to visit our website at stlucieco.gov and click on our comprehensive calendar. And if you'd like to be added to our press release distribution list, send us an email at pio@stlucieco.org and we'll be happy to include you. And if you're on social media, you can follow us at St. Lucie Gov on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're going to take a quick break. Before we do, we're going to check in with the latest economic development stats with another St. Lucie Works. For a solid year straight, St. Lucie County's tourism revenue has set record monthly revenue collection numbers. March's bed tax collection was 43% higher than March in 2021. Year to date, the tourist development tax collections are 82.3% higher than fiscal year 2021 and 72.9% higher than 2020. Overall building activity in the unincorporated area of St. Lucie County remained steady in March, with 1,134 permits submitted compared to February's 1,012 permits. Valuations and revenues were also above normal for that same time frame. The housing market remains strong. According to the Florida Realtors Association, the median home sale price in St. Lucie County for March was $281,153, up 31% from last year, while condo values rose by 11% with the median price at $260,000. St. Lucie County's unemployment rate dropped slightly in March to 3% compared to February's 3.5%. Statewide, the unemployment rate was 3.2%. The largest increases in the labor force on the Treasure Coast were in leisure and hospitalities with 2,400 new jobs, followed by professional services with 800 and manufacturing with 500 new jobs. If you work for a local business looking for skilled or trained labor, be sure to contact the staff at Career Sources. They can assist your company with its recruitment and training needs. And if you're an individual looking for a job, they can help you as well. Visit CareerSource online at careersourcerc.com or call 1-866-4U2-HIRE. Welcome back to Inside St. Lucie. I'm your host, Eric Gill with St. Lucie County, and I'm joined by St. Lucie County Commissioner Linda Bartz and Frank Amandro with our Public Safety Department, soon to be in our Criminal Justice Division. So
Thank you.
Thank you both for coming on the show today. And as we enter the beginning of hurricane season, which kind of keeps moving, it seems like sometimes it gets earlier and earlier, or maybe the months get shorter and shorter. But Frank, the projections are out today as to what kind of season we can expect here in Florida and around the country. And we don't make these numbers up, and we're not fear-mongering. We're just trying to get the information out to residents so they can have a plan and be prepared.
Absolutely. Yes, the predictions actually came out today, earlier today. And they usually come from multiple sites, Colorado State University, NOAA, the National Weather Service, and there's a couple other entities that put them out. So you'll see a little bit of difference in each prediction, but when you put all that together, we're going to have, they're predicting for a above average storm for the 7th year in a row if it turns out to be an above average season. So we're looking at 14 to 21 storms. Not as much as back in 2020 when we set the records for 30 plus storms named.
We went to the Greek alphabet, I think, to name them, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
we did.
absolutely. So that's a plus that hopefully we won't duplicate that this season. And as far as hurricanes, anywhere from 6 to 10 hurricanes. And out of those, hopefully we won't experience them, but 3 to 6 major hurricanes. And a major hurricane is 111 miles per hour and above.
And we always say it only takes one, right? Like you look back to Hurricane Andrew, that was supposed to be an average year, right? But I'm sure those people in Homestead would, say it was above average, for it was life changing for some of those people.
Absolutely.
Eric, that's a great point. I think people get too fixed on numbers when in actuality, all it takes is one, and I'll go back 2 years to Hurricane Dorian, that was really sitting off our coast. We did get the call from the Florida Department of Emergency Management and said, be prepared. We think that it's coming on shore in St. Lucie County. And everyone knows what it did to our Bahamas. And had that happened and come on shore in St. Lucie County, I think we'd still be putting the pieces together.
Absolutely. I remember I was out at the DOC. I remember them saying 155 100-mile-an-hour sustained winds within the next 12 to 24 hours could be hitting our county. And I remember thinking, man, I hope they're wrong. Because
yes, I was out there as well.
yeah.
And when I saw that, I made sure that my little one got relocated.
Yeah.
So
Recently we did a survey out on social media and just wanted to let people know, hey, it's hurricane season. How on a scale of 1 to 10 are you prepared? And what can we do to help you become better prepared? And it was interesting because some of the comments, oh, you're fear mongering, you're trying to scare residents. But when you actually looked at the survey, about half the people that took that survey said, I'm new to Florida. I really don't know what to do. Where are the shelters?
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about that, where people should go for more information.
So the county website, and specifically under the public safety website, there are numerous toolkits for people to review and research and develop their own plans. So anywhere from getting to know our shelters, and we have 12 shelters. Typically when we have an activation, we'll activate 4 shelters to begin with.
Scale up. Yeah.
And scale up when we need to, depending on the strength of the storm. Our special needs shelters as well. So, and you can go register for our special needs. So it's for people that have medical issues that need a little bit more assistance, that can't go to the hospital in the event of a hurricane. And our health department does a fabulous job running that program. We also have Alert St. Lucie. So those that really want to keep in the know, go register for Alert St. Lucie, and you can pick and choose what type of emergencies that you want to be notified for. So if you check the all box, you're going to get the tsunami warnings at 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that most people are concerned with that. So when you register, please just be careful on what you're signing up for, and make sure that you select every type of storm or disaster that you want to be notified for.
Now I do want to mention too, you mentioned pre-register for the special needs shelter. We also have a pet-friendly shelter. I know that was something our county administrator said when he got here about 6 years ago. Why don't we have a pet shelter? Because that's a deterrent. I'm sure you hear it, Commissioner, like, I don't want to leave my fur babies behind. And so but they can pre-register for that too, and that's going to be at West Prep. It used to be Westwood High School, but still the same school, but they have a new name.
So it's a great point, but I want to be clear with pet owners. It's not that your pet is going to be able to sleep with you and
in your
stay
cot,
in.
yep.
So our lovely Animal Safety Division operates the pet-friendly shelter. So there's a schedule for feeding time, and we ask the owners come feed and walk and take care of the animal, but they do not spend all their time.
Sure.
I would hope that people understand that, if we have 100 pets in there, they can't all be in the gymnasium.
With the 150, 200 people, yeah, because that's chaos enough.
Right.
But, and shelters are a place of last resort. If
Absolutely.
you have a better option, like you said, you wanted to get your little one out of harm's way.
Yeah.
And I remember our public safety manager, Gustavo, had a great leave tens of miles, not hundreds of miles, because if you go all the way to Georgia, it may be tough for you to get back home, or you may get stuck on 95 and gas pumps are out, or unless you have family that you're going to go and take the week and go stay with. But
and the weather stations are getting a lot better at predicting storms, but they change direction at the last minute. So you can be, evacuating 100 miles to the west or to the north, and you might be now right in the eye of that storm.
Yeah.
So,
we saw that with Dorian.
Absolutely.
yeah. And
Yeah,
what was when Irma came right up the middle of the state, and you never knew which way to go.
The other thing that you mentioned, Eric, was that so many Floridians are new now.
Yep, I was going to ask you about that.
They don't even know what kind of supplies.
Yes.
It's great to have a shelter.
Yeah.
Many of them want to shelter at home. So they also need to be prepared with water and food
Medication.
and
So-
any kind of medication that they need.
We have a great toolkit right on our website that spells all that out.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so we do have the tax week coming up. I believe it's May 28th through June 10th. So, you know, with inflation this year, you know,
That's just
that's a
six-
challenge for
yeah.
some people. So my recommendation is buy a little at each time as we get into the height of hurricane season, so you're not laying out hundreds of dollars right at the beginning.
Yeah, and one of the things I think in recent years we've all, at least some my friends and family, have those little portable battery packs to charge your phone. That's a great toolkit.
Yes.
Everybody thinks batteries for your radio, but your cell phone device, because when we're streaming our press briefings, we have generators. We can still push that out to Facebook, assuming the signals are still up and internet's up.
Right.
But at least then you can still get the information on your phones and tablets and those kind of things. So those little portable USB power drives are helpful too. And make sure they're stocked up.
And, you know, and the other thing is part of your family plan, make sure that you have a communication plan as well in case, you know, people are out of town or separated during the storm. This way you have a plan instead of relying on 911 or a hospitality type setup to contact your loved ones. This way, if you have a communication plan, you fall back on that, and it makes it a whole lot easier on family members.
Yeah.
Frank, I would just also ask you to talk a little bit about following evacuation orders and the fact that after a certain amount of time, we can't get the fire department, the ambulance, the police to you.
So one of our biggest challenges on any hurricane or hurricane season is our evacuation notice. You know, the complacency sits after a couple years when we may have an above average season, but we may not feel it in St. Lucie County. So it's always a challenge to get people to evacuate when they should, you know, because no one really wants to go to shelter. So I would always recommend, like you just said, Eric, you know, you evacuate tens of miles, not hundreds of miles, but I'll add on to that. Stay with family and friends that may be those tens of miles away versus our shelter, because it is really a place of last resort. You know, it's not the Hyatt.
Yeah.
You know, we'll make sure that you're fed and you have a place to sleep, but that is about it. You know, we just don't have those type of resources.
Sure.
You know, so, you know, and evacuate earlier when we say to evacuate. You know, we have a great plan in place. We have identified all our low-lying areas and those that are susceptible to flooding or wind damage, you know, that are not built to hurricane codes today, because we still have an old inventory of houses in St. Lucie County. So, you know, that's the way you can help us out the best and help the county prepare for a storm and recover from a storm if we are impacted, is to follow the evacuations.
Yeah. Commissioner, you brought up a good point, because I remember that's a question I get every hurricane season. The press asks us, "Were you going to force people out of your homes?" We don't do that. Law enforcement doesn't do that. But there is that recommendation that if you don't leave,
Yep.
once the winds get up over 45 mile an hour sustained for 4 hours, we're not going to send fire trucks and ambulance over to the barrier island to help you. And when I know of situations, even in my neighborhood, people were running generators during the storm in their house. Next thing you know, they get carbon monoxide poisoning, and then, you know, a neighbor of mine actually had to help revive another neighbor with some dive tanks that we had to give them oxygen because they couldn't get crews over to them, you know, and help them, because we don't want to put our first responders in harm's way either.
No,
So
absolutely
we have
not.
the barrier islands. We have two bridges that reach our barrier islands. So when we experience 45 miles an hour on flat land, when you go to the top of the bridge, the wind shear and gust are a whole lot higher. So law enforcement and the fire department have identified what their threshold is. You know, so when we reach that threshold, there is no going over that bridge to rescue people from the island. And you will unfortunately have to weather the storm until it's safe enough for our first responders to provide that service to you.
Frank mentioned we have some older homes, and Commissioner, I don't know if you've heard from any constituents upset that, because I was one of them, and I'm not calling you to complain about it, but my insurance carrier informed me that they're no longer carrying my insurance because my roof is more than 20 years old. And they gave me a month's notice to get a new roof. You can't pull a permit to get a new roof in a month. So.
Well, not only that, and I heard on the news this morning that they did that to someone. They got a new roof, and that carrier wouldn't take them
Still wouldn't
after.
take 'em. Wow.
So I know that the legislator
yep, the
is
states.
calling a special session to discuss our insurance issues.
Yeah. It's nothing we control, but it's something I'm
it
sure
is
already.
not.
If I'm, in the letter it said you're one of 55,000 people that are being dropped. I'm like, what?
Well,
You gave me 6 weeks. Like,
and not
even 6 weeks.
everybody is able to do that financially.
Yeah.
So, and the insurance keeps going up.
I told my kids they have to get a job.
It's a little late. You should have had them have jobs at
I'm trying.
much younger ages.
I know.
But no, it is a problem all over the state. I am hoping that the legislature comes to some conclusions that will give the residents, and again, this is statewide,
Sure, yeah.
some relief. The roofing, there is an organization that does that. And I heard the gentleman say this morning that their recommendation is if you have a roof that has 25% of damage, you should be replacing the whole thing.
Okay. So we had ours inspected about 5 years ago, and they said, or about 3 years ago, because it was right at 20 years, and they said, oh, you got another at least 5 years, you're good. They had it inspected, but I guess my insurance company didn't get that memo. But
Yeah, that's making it real tough
Yeah.
on people.
yeah, like I said, because there's already a backlog for construction, just new construction and roofers, so trying to get replacements done. I'm
And
sure
it's
I'm not the only one in my
affecting,
neighborhood.
no,
Yeah.
well, you're not the only one
Yeah, yeah.
anywhere. We are all
Sure.
facing that.
Yeah,
So none of us
yeah.
are exempt from that.
I mean, the only positive is I won't be at the house anyway. I'll be at the EOC, hopefully, or hopefully I'll still be employed and be at the EOC. So.
Well, but you don't want
But
that
I don't want to have to
damage.
come back to a house without a roof. Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, it's. What, you mentioned hurricane supplies. What do you usually buy for your hurricane supplies? Any special treats or anything?
Well, no, but I actually have a 10-year-old at home, and we usually take her to the grocery store. So as long as she has special treats,
Yeah.
everybody's
happy. Yep.
And her papa eat a lot of the same treats.
Perfect.
So, we make sure we have water and batteries
essentials, yeah.
and the phone chargers.
Yep.
But I've sat at the EOC myself. So, again, I have an older house. It's 35 years old. Thankfully, it's a block home.
Yep.
But I know what can happen. I've lived here that long, so I've seen what the hurricanes can do to us.
Yeah.
And got to be prepared. Make sure, you got gas for your grill.
Yeah. Another
If
great
you've
point.
got a generator, make sure it's going to take care of your freezer, your refrigerator.
Now's the time to run it, right?
Right.
Don't wait till the
Absolutely.
week before. Yeah, now's the time to make those plans. And I know, well, before we went on the air, we were talking a little bit about tree trimming. It's one of the things we try to get people to do
Right.
now. And I know a lot of residents are upset because we're having some issues, not just us, but the city of Port St. Lucie, actually probably more so than the county these days, because they're switching haulers. And so there's a gap in getting things picked up. And so I'm sure I know you're hearing from residents saying, well, you're telling me to trim the trees, but what am I supposed to do with them? I know the landfill is waiving tipping fees for residents that want to bring debris or their own garbage to the landfill. I know no one wants to put that in their cars. But if you have a truck or a neighbor, now's the time to help your neighbor out. And then we've seen a lot of that after storms, right? So let's do it beforehand.
Well, and I would love to see that camaraderie that happens after a storm to continue throughout the year. Obviously, the neighbors come out. Do you need a generator? My
some
water's
ice, yeah.
running. I've got this. I'm I am going to cook up a bunch of meat that was in the freezer, come on over, have a barbecue.
Sure.
And I saw that from people in my neighborhood that I don't know.
Yeah.
So very, very nice to see that.
Yeah.
I would just like to see it.
Year round, right?
Absolutely.
Like the Christmas spirit year round, right? the hurricane spirit. Yeah.
Can't help it.
But it is something, we are working through, and I know the city of Port St. Lucie is working through to get that debris picked up, because everybody talks about debris becoming projectiles, but I think more importantly, it's an issue of it blocking drainage and causing flooding. When those tree branches block the storm drains, that water has nowhere to go.
Well, and what I'm seeing as well is a lot of bulk items where people are clearing out their houses,
furniture,
their
yeah.
garage, and again, that's sitting right now. And there is concern that, goodness, if we have a hurricane, that stuff will go flying.
Yeah.
So,
Not only blocking drainage, but blocking our streets, preventing our first responders from responding accordingly as well.
Yeah.
So, it's an important issue. The earlier that we can get to it, the better off. we are.
Absolutely, yeah. And especially don't wait until there's a storm in the box, so to speak, and there's one forming and it's still 3 days out. And you think, I got time, they're going to come Thursday. Well, they may not come Thursday just because there's been a backlog of getting things picked up, and with the new switching vendors, especially in Port St. Lucie.
and you can't wait. I mean, can you remember the lines at Home Depot or Lowe's or the
Yeah.
grocery stores? People who have waited the last minute. I need plywood.
Yeah.
I need water.
Batteries, yeah. Like you said, I think it's good as get an extra gallon of water every time you're at the grocery store, or every other week, and then
Right.
keep that stockpile there, and a couple batteries.
You'll
here and there.
drink it eventually. Trust me.
Exactly. If not, you can donate it to the Humane Society.
But we saw that a couple of years ago when you take a look at the growth in the county. I mean, given Port St. Lucie's growth, the unincorporated, and even Fort Pierce's growth, that problem is just getting worse and worse.
It is. So, on the positive note, though, I think our public safety staff is ready. We've got a lot of experienced folks out there. We've been through these storms, and not only have we been through them, we do regular training exercises on an annual basis, not just for hurricanes, but even other disasters and emergencies.
Absolutely. I'd love, if I had a nickel for every time that I was asked that question, well, what do you guys do when it's not hurricane season? I'd probably be able to retire for a second time. But no, we're constantly training with our staff as well as with our partners, from FP&L to the Florida Department of Emergency Management, our state partners, but most importantly, our local law enforcement and first responders. So we think that our relationship is stronger than it's ever been before, and I think that we have some great experience in each and every agency, and I think that makes us exceptionally prepared for this hurricane season. And we're a seasoned crew out there.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've participated in hazardous spills from trains, from terrorist attacks at the baseball stadium, to events at the nuclear power plant. So
Well, having sat through Dorian at the EOC, I'm going to tell you, all of those agencies are represented, and they are all doing reporting, and everything truly runs so smoothly. FP&L really impressed me. They had all of their trucks
at the
there,
fairgrounds, yeah.
ready to go, had they needed them. Thankfully, we didn't. So once we were out of danger, those trucks were quickly moving. But having all of us together, collaborating, cooperating, it is really a nice, safe feeling that everybody is there and everybody's represented, and most importantly, everybody's been trained.
Absolutely. We've made some technological advances in our EOC to make sure that we're getting the information quicker. We're putting out information to the state. If we need additional resources, anywhere from manpower to water to trucks to heavy
Barricades,
equipment, so that is a whole lot more efficient these days than it ever has been. Not that we weren't prepared before, but
Sure.
technology advances, and we're keeping up with those advances as well. So I think our response is that much quicker and that much more effective and efficient.
Yeah, and it's just from the communication standpoint, I know going from the old EOC out on Rock Road to the new one, we got a little more elbow room, but it's just convenient to, if I have a call from, is this bridge out, or is this, I could walk across the room and get that information, or go on our web. We have a little, an internal website. We can see all the information. I can check in with the public information hotline. Our librarians always help staff that, and it's great to walk in and say, what questions are you getting? What rumors can we help squash out on social media? Not that we can control everything or respond to everything in that short
Right.
time frame, but we do the best we can with the crew that we have out there. And we usually do our briefings at 8, noon, and 5 once we're at full activation, and those videos are done in both English, Spanish, and we have an American Sign Interpreter there, so we try to reach every resident in this county with the information they need. So.
Absolutely. And it's just simple stuff like our partnership with FP&L. So one of the big things is power outages, during the hurricane. Now that we're getting that information almost instantaneously, so it helps us drive our strategy. So when we see a potential problem area, we see a lot of outages in this particular area, it helps FP&L and us to develop a strategy to get that power back on as soon as we can.
Is there anything else we didn't get to mention before we wrap up the show?
I think we're good.
No, I think that we're good. I just make a plug for public safety again. We have 5 divisions out there. We have our emergency management division that does a great job during hurricane season. Our radiological division, we're looking at reaching that population that's coming to St. Lucie County, so they know that we have a power plant parked out on one of our beaches. So we're going to be doing some more community outreach. Our lovely animal safety division opened a new animal shelter on Midway Road. That is an awesome project that is doing exceptionally well. And let's see, I mentioned
911.
911. So 911 is a challenge for us. Those that are looking for work would have a wonderful career at St. Lucie County's 911 Communications Center. It's a rewarding if you want to be a part of public service, thought about being in the criminal justice program but don't want to wear a gun and badge or work in the prison system, then that is a great alternative.
I always say they're literally the first responders.
Yes,
Absolutely.
literally.
Absolutely.
They're the ones that pick up the phone, and they should get the same benefits as all other first responders. I know it's been an issue that counties have been pushing the state to recognize, and
Absolutely.
it is a challenging job. I can't imagine. Every time you answer the phone, you're dealing with someone on their worst day ever, probably.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the appropriate statement because no one's calling 911 to say, hey, thank you for a great job.
Yeah.
We are servicing our public on their absolute worst day. But talk about a rewarding career, and if you want to start out in criminal justice and not wear a gun and badge, it's a great way to get your feet wet in criminal justice. It will make you a better police officer or deputy. So it's a great career.
And we should make it so they have to serve a year as a dispatcher before they get out on
Love
the road.
that idea.
See if I ran the world. Well, thank you both for your time today.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll
Anytime that we can talk about St. Lucie County and the things that we are doing here to improve everyone's lives, it's a great opportunity.
And Commissioner Borsch, to touch on you're right. We need more informed, involved residents. So we do have a Citizens Academy. I encourage people to sign up for that. And the cities have them as well. I
Yes.
did Fort Pierce's. a
Yes,
few years
yes.
back.
I think that it is so beneficial. Everybody I have talked to who have gone through it come out with a whole different look at the county. The Sheriff's Department also has one.
Yeah.
Not sure, does Fort Pierce?
Yes, Fort
Yeah, it's
Pierce
part
does
of
as well. Yeah.
theirs is part of the
Okay.
city. The PD is part of the cities because I actually got in the back of a squad car.
Yeah, we
Wasn't
used to
the
we
first
used to
time.
separate it, but we joined it
Yeah.
to make it a little bit.
They
more
wouldn't
efficient.
tase me though. They were testing the tasers, and I volunteered, and they wouldn't test me.
I can arrange that.
We can do that later. Definitely, we'll have the guys film that.
Yep.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Inside St. Lucie, and we hope you'll tune in again next month. If you have topics or subjects you'd like to see covered here on the program relating to St. Lucie County government, give us a call at 772-462-1791 or send us an email at pio@stlucieco.org. And if you'd like to see previously aired episodes of this or other SLC TV programs, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/stluciegov. I'm your host, Eric Gill, for myself and the staff. Thanks for watching.